Welcome to What's Trending, your go-to podcast for staying informed about what's trending in the ever-evolving landscape of Westchester and beyond. We are your hosts, Amanda DePalma, Senior Vice President of Events and Development, and Dr. Marsha Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester. Welcome, Natasha Caputo, Director of Westchester County Tourism and Film. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today. It's fantastic. I'm always available to talk about Westchester.
Fun fact about Westchester, we're going to start. It has a thriving $2 billion tourism industry.
It does, and growing. So we have regained about 99% of our COVID loss. So that is just a real showing of Westchester's strength and resiliency in travel and tourism.
And I just think that coupled with how you and your team promote Westchester, shine a spotlight on the county's assets, and make it a sought-after destination for travelers and film professionals alike, it's a win-win combination.
It is. You know, I think it never gets, we do not have a dull day. That is the good news, because there's just always so much to talk about, so much to do, and so much, great collaborations to work with partners like the Business Council of Westchester.
Well, thank you. And speaking of collaborations and partnerships, must give a special thank you to Thompson & Bender for their support as the premier sponsor of the What's Trending podcast. Looking for unparalleled success in PR and marketing? Look no further than Thompson & Bender, the leader in strategic communications. With over 30 years of expertise, they've mastered everything from PR and advertising to social media and event marketing, ensuring their clients' success. Recognized with awards like the Business Council of Westchester Hall of Fame, City and State Power 100, and voted Best in Westchester for advertising, public relations, and social media by 914 Inc., their track record speaks for itself. Join the ranks of clients from Fortune 500 corporations, small businesses, educational and healthcare institutions, and many more who've benefited from their innovative strategies. Trust Thompson & Bender to elevate your brand to new heights. So, Natasha, get into it with us. Share a little bit about yourself, Westchester County Tourism and Film. We want to hear all about it.
Oh, well, thank you. My whole world is about promotion and marketing and entertainment. I have now been in my role well over 10 years, and I can't believe it. And that really just, again, speaks to our strength here, our collaborations, and all that we have. My background is I was, this for the city of New York, MSG, Amex, and it's just continues to be really exciting times.
That's what we like to hear. We like exciting times. We like exciting times in Westchester. It is travel. Travel is back. Travel trends. What influences are shaping tourism right now, and how is Westchester responding?
That's a great question. And the good news is that because we talked about the numbers and, the breadth of the travel and tourism runs across all of our different segments, from large to small businesses that are part of this industry. And the trends that we're seeing really offer more about leisure and business. We are seeing a lot of set jetting, or another way to call it, screen tourism, which is the idea of visiting a destination that you see on the screen. Film production here in Westchester is a $1.4 billion industry. So that is, again, new money, much like travel and tourism, new revenues, new money that go into our local economy. And highlighting the county's robust backdrop, landscape, architecture, businesses really highlights, again, what we have to offer in our quality of life, right? So if we're a vibrant tourist destination, we also then proof is in our quality of life here that attracts that. So what are some of the spots that are popular?
Yes.
Well, I hope everyone listening is a big fan of Gilded Age, because the majority of our historic homes here in Westchester County are and serve as a stage for the Gilded Age, such as Lyndhurst, Glenview Mansion at the Hudson River Museum, the Belvedere, and even our hotel properties. Edith Macy Conference Center is and has, a scene and a stage and a set for Gilded Age. And this is recurring on and on. So we see that. Dickinson, season 3 of Dickinson, J Heritage in Rye. So it really is not only the historic home, the landscape, the gardens, the vistas and the views that attracts and makes people say, where is that? I want to go there. And they find us here in Westchester in the Hudson Valley.
I love it. And speaking of historic homes, I will just share one of my very first jobs was working at Historic Hudson Valley, where I used to dress up in costume, picking card wool. I learned how to cook over an open hearth before I ever learned to cook on a stove. So the historic properties around here are just amazing. And I personally also have never missed a period piece that I did not like. So.
Well, that's good to know because, we are going to be celebrating the 250th. For the American Revolution in 2026. So I may be calling on you to take on your acting skills.
I'll have to go up into my attic and pull out all of my revolutionary wear attire.
I do not have attire, so maybe you can help me find something. But, going back to the trends, I think one of the things that is a big aha moment is there are some very unique spots here in Westchester County for stargazing. And that's actually a trend, right? We talk about wellness and being in our vistas. So Castle Hotel and Spa was recently noted in one of the big travel magazines as an ideal spot for stargazing. Ward Pound Ridge. So think of, again, where it could be right in your own backyard, and our visitors do enjoy that. Best sunset, Croton Point Park. Hands down, Croton Point Park.
You would never think of those topics necessarily as something that would attract tourism, but it makes so much sense.
Well, the idea is that you're going to do multiple things. So we're hoping you'll take a stroll on the Riverwalk and then go down to, River Market, enjoy a dinner, go in to potentially see a show. I'm picking Terrytown as a great itinerary because that's ideal. But you could do that all along on both sides. And what's very unique here in Westchester is that across their four corners, there's different landscapes or vistas. Our northern part is, very rolling hills, equine history, a lot of green. You have our two waterways that are very unique, and those experiences will be different than what you have in the Sound Shore and sailing. And the Sound Shore from kayaking in the, in the Hudson River and that close proximity. So, and then I always say, but you have a little bit of the urban and suburban with our major cities and those culinary scenes, which I know. But I do before. Another big trend that our bartenders or mixologists here, I don't want to call them, that are really going into is kind of those slow and no cocktails, those mocktails. And I have to just point out, if I may, some really exciting stuff that also shows our diversity. So a great example is a peppered guava margarita at Modern Barn in Armonk. And our bartender or our mixologist, Santiago Tapia, who comes from South America, has really brought in this beautiful martini glass with a rim of red sugar and kind of added its own spin that you can only find here in Westchester. And I just, again, it speaks to our very diverse community and who we are. Our culinary scene expanding, and also just offers a little bit of a different taste.
We should have had these cocktails and some of these delicious bites that you're talking about while we had and discussed this podcast.
You'll have to invite me back.
Exactly.
I didn't know that was an option. But Borough 6 Wine Bar in Hastings on the Hudson is also one of that. And so, we have the outdoors. I think that's a continuation of the trend of our post-COVID, just our behavior is changing. We have, I said, stargazing. I don't think that will ever get boring. Our historic homes. We also have very unique accommodations. If you aren't aware, travelers can experience an overnight of sleeping with the wolves in the northern part at the Wolf Conservation Center. That's been giving guests a chance to have a memorable experience and with 30 plus wolves in the northern Westchester. And that really also can be a great team building exercise, educational outing. You don't have to stay. So, we're really here, it's all encompassing. And I think it crosses all of our senses and our taste and, the taste and the likes here of Westchester County.
You mentioned some of those drink offerings a minute ago. What are other exciting developments that are happening in the food and beverage scene in and around Westchester?
Well, if you have not, you must go on to visitwestchesterny.com and sign up for our craft beverage trail that highlights 23 breweries and then plus distilleries and hard ciders. And you have to do the trail. You check in at every one of our locations. You earn points, and then you're eligible for very unique, specially designed hats and Westchester craft beverage gear. So I don't want to give it away because I want everyone to go visit the website and download it.
I love it.
And that's been
we'll
a lot.
Check it out right after this.
And that's been a lot of fun also because, the craft beverage industry is part of our agriculture. If you're not aware, we have working farms here in Westchester County. We have a very extensive farm to table or, fork to plate, pasture to plate kind of experience here. And that intimate dining experience across all different price points makes us very unique and also an extension of that major culinary scene that's happening in New York City. So it really, I just feel that as more and more folks are working from home and, enjoying it, we're seeing quite a bit of increase in our leisure traveler.
And I was going to say, too, in addition to the leisure travel, yes, people are still working from home, but you have a tremendous amount of the corporate business coming back, corporate travel coming back. So looking at corporate meetings, how is Westchester appealing to groups looking to host meeting and conferences?
And that's another really good question. I'm glad you're giving me the opportunity to talk about that because Westchester as a destination, its major pull when we talk about the travel and tourism industry is the ideal place for a meeting, right? A small meeting. Now, we have lost our major conference centers, but with that said, we also have new conference centers coming in. So, for example, Crotonville is a new, very different type of conference center with across, overlooking the Hudson and Ossining, major, different buildings for a different type of innovation or a theater style seating. So that's happening. And how we're doing that in Westchester Tourism and Film, right? Our role is to be the salesperson and extension of marketing with 35 plus different hotels, 5,500 room nights here. So and our location is again, making us a spot for businesses. We have now launched what we're calling Westchester Workshops. And this is designed really to encourage, but also support those meetings that are coming here that have 50 plus or more rooms at one of our properties. And then you'll be eligible to pick out from a curated list of activities and experiences for that group. So you have to book your 50 plus rooms before December 31st of 2024, and the meeting needs to take place before the end of 2025. And when I say they're curated and special, let me just give you an example of some of that. So the original Rock Palace of Capitol Theater, who I know was a guest here.
Just here.
Who doesn't want to go behind the scenes and actually stand on that stage? We have our Tastefully Brewed with Soul Brewing Company, and really learn how to make your own brew. We have cheese shops here. We have the Wolf Conservation, and also very kind of, we talked about Gilded Age. Just think about having an event at Lyndhurst, and it could be time period, kind of setting back in time and doing that and enjoying all of the grounds there, whether it may be their bowling alley. So the idea really is about we want your meeting here. We have the accommodations to do that. We have major businesses here that live here that do meetings here. We welcome that. And we also want to be able to offer a memorable experience for that repeat visit.
Well, and I think that's so key, especially with these meetings coming back and how Westchester can approach it, is that it's not just, you're sitting in one room and you're just sitting for the conference, you're just sitting for the meeting and that's the end of it. There is so much more out there across the board for everyone, and that just makes it so appealing when you're getting your folks together out of their home offices or even out of their stationary offices. It just gives it so much more of a dynamic experience.
And that's so on point. Right, we're working a lot from home. We're more hybrid. So when we bring in a meeting, you just don't want it to be a conference exactly in front of us. You want that also that to kind of meet and greet and that face-to-face with your colleagues, because that's what we're kind of missing that.
It's all about the experience.
And the relationship building. And I think that goes a long way. And of course, we have a lot of Instagrammable moments here.
Who doesn't love an Instagrammable moment?
Well, I highly encourage you to go on Westchester County Tourism on Instagram. We have every Thursday we're running our stories for what's happening in the weekend.
So Instagram, if you think about it, so much the present and the future, but just taking it back a little bit, how does history influence travel and visitor experiences here in this region?
We just underwent a big study with an EDA grant on tourism recovery and resiliency because of our post-COVID. And one of the big findings is the history and heritage is of interest. And with our historic Hudson Valley, with our African American Heritage Trail, with our American Revolutionary Trail here in Westchester County, we have quite the stories to tell. And, for me in tourism, we are working towards some new stuff that will be on the website and activation, but the history part of it ties into addressing whether you are an amateur, an enthusiast, or a scholar. And I think that is very appealing, for as a destination here in Westchester County and being part of the Hudson Valley region. We are working closely with Revolutionary Westchester 250th in 2026. We'll be celebrating a big anniversary, so look out. Hopefully I'll be back to talk about this for some more of the events that we're working on.
We're really going to need to break out this Revolutionary era clothing again for everybody with all this coming.
You are setting the trend. You're onto something. And we also have anniversaries that are taking place. So Sleepy Hollow has a big 150th anniversary that they have monthly events in the area.
So much. There's just so much. And it is such a rich historical area. Keeping with moving forward, though, sustainability, it's increasingly more important to travelers. How is Westchester integrating sustainability into its tourism offerings and attracting more visitors?
Did you know that we are home to a lot of bees?
I had no idea.
Beekeeping is a very big thing and big trend here in Westchester County, and many of our businesses have installed their own hives, and hopefully that's the right way of saying hives on the grounds. So I'm just going to give you examples. So Cross County Center has had their honey. The Louis V. Gerstner Center for Learning, which is the former IBM Conference Center, has hives and also very dedicated menus for your group meetings on that. Spring Hill Suites in Tuckahoe. And those kinds of examples have been so much fun to work with, but also just our sustainability in our properties like Hilltop Hanover, all of our sanctuary and our preserves and the work that's being done there really speaks to how innovative we've been here in Westchester.
You also have to look at it, too, as an industry. I mean, how many office buildings have all this open? I mean, we could just have anyone that has a rooftop patio. We could be having flowers and gardens and bees and all these new different directions for sustainability efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on the visitwestchesterny.com website, in our hotel section, you'll have a list of all of the hotels who really have been surpassed what they need to do and are doing, these certifications. That is very unique.
So speaking of these upcoming and visiting the website, spooky season is going to be upon us soon. And what is more memorable than fall or spooky season, as I like to call it, in Westchester? So tell us about that.
Yeah, it really is. It's our most popular season. So if you are even thinking about coming to Westchester, you need to plan ahead. Not only are we spooky and being home to Washington Irving's Sunnyside, we have Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. We have different activations taking place. Lyndhurst and some of our historic homes, our historic towns really get into it for sure. And apples. And we are really home to apples. You can take the train and then, take some transportation to our farms. Hardscrabble is an ideal place. Not only can you can spend days there from your apple picking to then just taking home the pumpkins and eating homemade apple cider donuts, enjoying some music and some of the ciders that they make there right on premise.
We've been talking so much about food and drink. I really should have eaten lunch before we sat down to chat. But this has been so incredible, Natasha. I mean, one of the most amazing things about Westchester is whether it's spooky season, holiday season, spring, or summer, there is something for everyone and anyone to come and experience and enjoy. And I think you've really hit on just some amazing highlights. Is there anything else you want to share with the listeners or want to make sure that they check out?
Well, definitely check out the website. I want to say thank you, and thank you for the Business Council just being real business leaders here in the county and enhancing all that we do. And I think visit westchesterny.com, our Westchester County Tourism on Instagram, and onward. I welcome everyone. I hope to see everyone here soon.
We will see you all out and about. Thank you again, Natasha, for being here. And a special thank you again to Thompson & Bender, our sponsor of the What's Trending podcast.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows: Leadership Unleash, Advocacy Unplugged, The Member Spotlight, WIN, the Innovation Roundtable, and Talent Trailblazers. Stay tuned for our next episode of What's Trending, premiering next month. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more about the Business Council of Westchester, please go to thebcw.org.
The BCW Podcast Network. Build, connect,